I recently watched the movie called Shakma. It is from 1990. It's about 90 minutes, maybe a little bit shorter. It's about a laboratory that tests on animals, unfortunately, and they have a male baboon named Shakma, who one of the main doctors, played by Roddy McDowall, decides to inject it with his experimental serum, and it unfortunately is a failed experiment. Shakma seemingly dies and is to be sent to the incinerator. Well, we have a group of young students who work at the lab who get the bright idea of, hey, why don't we try to see what happens and maybe try to bring him back. And in the midst of this, they also decide to have this role play game where they lock themselves in the animal laboratory at night and play this role play game where you have a princess and a goblin going from room to room in this large laboratory, trying to find each player via talking on a walkie-talkie and going from room to room. So, as you can probably guess, Shakma returns from his nap. He's very angry from this awful serum that was injected into his brain, and he's not happy. So it's very creepy because you have this poor baboon whose switch gets flipped and he's mad as hell. He runs down the hallways and tries to get through locked doors, and it's very unnerving because you hear him shrieking and clawing and knocking at the locked doors and throwing around lab equipment and whatnot. So it pretty much takes place in the laboratory. You have the various characters looking for the other players of the game, and unfortunately not knowing that Shakma is on the hunt for anything that moves in the laboratory as they try to complete this game before the first of the morning. So, unfortunately, there is some animal abuse in this. You have Shakma clawing at the different doorways. I'm not sure if you could say that's animal abuse, but the way they got Shakma to go rogue is his trainer would be on the other side of the door and just whisper his name. And apparently the baboon really hated it, and it made him go really rogue and scary. And the baboon who plays Shakma actually was in several movies, which is what I thought was interesting. You do have some slight animal abuse towards the end, involving a poor white lab rat, but that's pretty much it as far as animal abuse. You get the feeling that he attacks different animals in the lab, but you don't really see anything. You see like splatters of blood and different broken things. So it wasn't that bad of a watch to someone like me who doesn't like seeing animal abuse or animal deaths on screen. Well, except for the last half. But I'll try not to spoil that. I enjoyed this movie for what it was. You do get some gnarly gore. A lot of the death scenes are cutaways to where you see the damage on the poor people afterwards. So this had a pretty decent body count too. I recently watched this on Tubi, I believe. So very creepy. if you're into nature attacks type movies, give Shakma a try. And I hope you enjoyed this this other rant on another type of B movie goodness. And thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.